Hi guys! Today I am so excited because we are going to be wear testing a product that brings back so many memories for me. This was one of the first makeup products I ever owned. This was my daily foundation in high school and it has been reformulated and relaunched by Covergirl. This is their Clean Invisible Foundation. You might remember, I feel like this is such an iconic product for so many people, but this was that foundation that was in the triangular glass bottle with the brown cap. Who remembers who had that foundation? I know so many people did, and I went through multiples of those over the years. There have been so many times that I have been tempted to repurchase that foundation just to see how I feel about it now, but because the shade range was so abysmal, I just didn't really want to feature it on my channel. But they must have realized that a lot of people had fond memories of this foundation because they reformulated it. Now it comes in 24 shades, much better packaging than that pumpless glass bottle that was just so... It's amazing what we used to put up with like a decade ago, you know? So it looks like as of right now, this foundation is only sold at Walmart and on Amazon. I purchased mine at Walmart for $6.88. That's the retail price of this, which is amazing, especially considering CoverGirl has come out with some more expensive products recently. It's nice to see that they're still keeping some of their products under $10, especially foundation. Like that's a really good price for a foundation. The shade I went with is 105 Ivory, and I just now realized that they actually put the undertones on the label as well. So they say that this has a warm neutral undertone, which is perfect. That's actually exactly how I describe my undertone. They claim that this has buildable coverage, a skin-like finish, blends easily and melts into skin so it looks and feels like your skin, but better. So this sounds like exactly what I like in a foundation. I was happy to see that it does come with a little seal on there, which is always nice to see. So today we're going to put this to the test on my combination acne-prone skin, and we'll see how well it holds up. The sunscreen that I'm wearing today is one that I feel like plays really well with makeup. This is the Verdeo UV Moisture Gel SPF 50, so that's what I have on. You can see it's giving me a little bit of glow, so I think we're nice and well prepped for foundation. So the way I usually like to test a foundation first is to try it with a brush on one side of my face and a sponge on the other side, so we can see which method looks best. I'm not going to wear any primer today, not going to wear any setting spray. I just want to see how this foundation wears by itself. Okay, so there's already some foundation kind of spilling out of the nozzle when I opened it, so this might end up being one of those messy squeeze tubes. Still better than a glass bottle. That actually looks like a great shade match, so let's hope it doesn't oxidize. See, I do have some breakouts today. I don't love that, but I do think it helps just give us more information about the foundation, seeing how well it covers and wears over breakouts. Let's do the sponge on this side of my face. This is the Urban Decay sponge that I actually don't think they sell. I got it in PR with the foundation. Okay, so far we're getting really light coverage actually with the sponge. Like that's really sheer coverage. Can definitely still see my breakouts on that side. So let's see if the brush gives us more coverage. This is the BK Beauty 101. Okay, yeah, really happy with the shade. So I think I got slightly more coverage with the brush, but it's still pretty light coverage. So let's go in with a second layer. Yeah, I hate when there's like an air bubble in there and then it just like won't stop pushing the product out. I'm gonna build some of this up. So far I think both sides look really nice as far as finish and like just the way that it's melting into my skin. All right, let's see how much we can build it up. Okay, so there we have 2 layers built up. You can definitely still see the redness from my breakouts peeking through a little bit. I would say that gave me light coverage really on both sides. I do slightly prefer the way that it's sitting on the sponge side versus the brush side. I think it looks fine on the brush side, but maybe it's just sitting on top of my skin a little bit more, like right here and right here. I'll give you a good close-up of both sides. Yeah, really it's like right here that I feel like could look a little better, but... And then here's the sponge side. This looks really nice. So I'm just taking my sponge and lightly tapping over the brush side. Really happy with the shade, the finish. I think it looks really good. Really skin-like. Definitely living up to that skin-like claim. I don't know how buildable it is. Like, I don't know how much I'm gonna try just building, I know seems like a little much, but I really want to test that buildable claim. So I'm gonna take a little bit more. I think there's like an air bubble in here because this keeps happening where it won't stop coming out. Yeah, this is getting messy. All right, just gonna try and build up a little bit more over these blemishes. So actually what I'm gonna do, because I just want to see how much I can build up the coverage, I'm gonna try just really gently stippling this in with my brush. Just see how much coverage we can get. Okay, so I think that's about all I'm gonna try and build. I would say that brought us to light medium coverage. It builds nicely on top of itself. I'm just not sure how much coverage you can really build it up to. Like, I think this is about as much coverage as you're gonna get. To me, what's most important is just that it looks good on my skin. I don't really care that much about the coverage. If it sits nicely on my skin, I am probably gonna like it. Okay, so it is 11:49 a.m. As I am just finishing putting that on. I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup now, and then we will see how everything looks all together. Okay guys, the full face is done. I'll go ahead and list everything else that I have on down below, but the rest of the complexion products I used, on the under eyes I used the NYX Bear With Me concealer serum, but I just have this on the under eyes. I didn't use this on any other parts of my face. To set everything except for the under eyes, I used the Covergirl Clean Fresh pressed powder, and I just did a light layer all over like my entire face, which is what I typically do, and then to set my under eyes, I just used the e.l.f. light pink powder. And then for my blush and bronzer, I went with 2 matte powders for those, and I didn't wear any highlight because I just want to be able to see the finish that the foundation is giving us. So this is what we're looking like now with everything all on. So far, I'm really happy with the way the foundation looks. I really like the finish and just the way that it's sitting on my skin. It really does just look like skin. So far very promising. It is now 12:18. I want to give this at least an 8-hour wear test, if not a 10-hour wear test. So I'll probably do one check-in later this afternoon and then one again at the end of the night to see how it held up. Okay, so it has now been 5 hours since I applied this foundation. I have been indoors this whole time. I think we're gonna go for a walk in a little while, but I've just been inside editing actually the beginning of this video. So far, I haven't gotten very shiny at all. Sometimes with certain foundations or with certain sunscreens or different combinations of things, I will get shiny in my T-zone, but today I have really hardly any shine there except for maybe a little bit on the sides of my nose and like between my eyebrows you can kind of see. But otherwise everything stayed pretty much like a soft matte kind of finish, which I really like. Very natural finish. I have a very small amount of settling in my smile lines, but that happens with pretty much every foundation, and I would say this settling is very minor at this point. If I'm being super nitpicky, maybe it's just a tiny bit dry on like my chin and upper lip, but really I don't think it looks very dry at all unless you get up really close. So let me get up really close right now. So I have you zoomed in as far as this lens will go. So 5 hours in, I still think this looks very nice. I would absolutely wear this out. I wouldn't even feel the need to really touch up at all. I think other than just like tapping out my smile lines with my finger, I don't think I would feel the need to touch up anything. That is how we are looking 5 hours in. I will see you again at the end of the night. Okay, I made it to 9:41, but I was starting to doze off on the couch, so I decided to go ahead and film my last check-in now. I was going to try to wait till 10, but I think this is the best I can do. But it has been a full 9 hours since I applied the foundation. I am so happy to say that I am really happy with the way it looks. I didn't get very shiny at all. Maybe just like, you know, a little bit glowy in the center of my face, but really not much at all. I really like that the foundation just kind of lets my skin show through. Just gives a nice light amount of coverage, a great base for just every day. And that's kind of what I remember liking about it way back in the day. We went for a decently long walk. Like I think we walked for like a total of 45 minutes. I do want to add that today was a very dry day as far as humidity. I think the humidity this afternoon was like 33%, something really, really low, which might explain why I didn't get very oily at all. But I also don't feel like it looks too dry, except for like my chin. I feel like it just looks like it's kind of just sitting on top of the skin a little bit. It really looks to be mostly still intact. I was wearing glasses so you can see it kind of rubbed off here. I may have lost some coverage over here from like leaning on my hand. Yeah, because you can definitely see that. But most of it stayed really in place, especially in the center of my face where it often breaks down. Let me give you a really close up so you can see.
I haven't tapped out the smile line at all, so that is how much has settled throughout the last 10 hours. Not terrible, really not terrible.
So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this foundation, whether or not it's something you plan on picking up. It's not that widely available yet, and a lot of retailers still seem to be selling the old version of this. Like Target's website has the old triangular bottle version of this, so hopefully more retailers will stock this soon. But if you can get your hands on it, I'm curious to hear if you plan on picking it up. If you have tried it, what do you think of it? How do you feel like it compares to the old version? Like I said, from my memory, it does kind of remind me a lot of what I liked about the old version. So very excited to have this again. I think for under $7, that is a steal for just a nice everyday foundation. I am really impressed. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. These are one of my favorite kinds of videos to film, and I don't get to film them very often, but I love filming wear tests so much. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to make sure you don't miss out on future videos. Otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you very soon in my next video.